when streaming media or piano, shit can go down and things can stand still.
Welcome once again to another week and another webinar here at British Technology's live studio here in Oslo. And this week we're going to be talking about OTT, or on-demand, or multi-screen, or call it what you like.
Or variable bitrate, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, DVR streams, that's one other. And you know, every child you love has a lot of names, and I think therefore we could say that OTT has more of them than most.
It does, it does. Also, I thought we would start off with a little bit of a quiz this week.
Oh.
So, Simen, you're in the hot seat here, and everybody else that watching can try and get this. So, when was the first live sports event to be streamed? Between 1990 and 2000. So, which year was the first live stream sporting event?
Holy moly, I would actually say between 1990, I believe that should be 1994.
Okay, and then the answer is? It was actually 1995, so very, very close.
Oh, goodness.
That was there, and yeah, it was actually a baseball game.
Ah.
So yeah, so there's a bit of a fun fact. Fun fact number one. We've actually got one more fun fact. Let's grab that one here. Oh, we won't show it yet. Okay, so which year was the, so Netflix and Amazon actually produced a greater number of original shows than traditional broadcasters, and which year was that in? It's within the last 5 years.
Okay, they passed the corner in 2017.
Okay, 2017, so the first one was 94, and the answer is 2018.
Oh, of course.
So again, close.
Well, I'm a bit
no
optimistic.
cigar, I think,
well, we'll see. But I was a bit optimistic on their behalf, obviously. But it's true to form that you know, with 1995 as the first streamed event, I remember very clearly earlier than that that we listened to a station called CUCME software, basically that was using webcasts in a dramatic way, and they were then streaming live from the International Space Station, from a shuttle mission actually, and it was extraordinary when we then all tuned into our very, very low bandwidth internet lines and actually got that live, and that was the power. That was just kind of unheard of, and nobody else was.
Everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe also that's part of why this trend is accelerating like crazy, because it's so ubiquitous. It doesn't really matter any dramatic pieces of technology. Well, I can say that with a smile on my face, because there's quite a lot of technology going into it.
Absolutely.
But it feels simple for the average user. And that is some of the fantasticness that I believe enables us to grow spectacularly.
Yeah. And to lots of people, it's the de facto, thing that they watch now, or the non-linear part of their TV watching program is actually on, a device, another device. Then
yeah, very true, and it's probably then not very, very linear at all, and that's where people are now expecting to see news whenever they need it. Maybe they don't even look at news actually anymore, and basically go on demand for nearly anything. still live is a very important thing. And when we do, like we do right now, actually streaming live, there is a lot of factors to factor in.
Absolutely.
So that you can actually then, keep control of this spectacle.
Yeah.
And that's what we are going to lead slightly into, these OTT monitoring systems that we devised. We touched upon it last time, right?
We did, and actually we didn't mention the year that the OTT engine was introduced into the Bridge Technologies
Another quiz?
families. Yep, well, yeah, I thought I made this one up on the spot, but do you remember the year that it was introduced?
Well, I do believe that our absolute very first customer for it was the amazing people at Virgin Media in the UK. And the year was basically pretty much 2012.
I'm going to say that you're correct on that one, but yes, you are absolutely right. It's 2012 it was introduced. So.
And I remember it was a huge breakthrough because they were looking for something that could actively be the last guard, if you like, for looking at the output from all the various content delivery networks that they were utilizing to actually distribute this. And it's quite phenomenal. So we're very, very proud of the amazing OTT engine. We are also extremely lucky today because we have Ståle, which is one of the absolute developers of this amazing technology. And he's going to showcase some of it for us really right now. And one of the key things that I really want us to look at in the OTT engine is how easy you can actually monitor a stream. That is, kind of, it blew me away because what you want to do is that you want to actually find a URL that you really want to look at, and basically let's find a nice one. Do you have one nice, Ståle?
I do.
He has a nice one. So he's going over the famous interweb and finding that URL. He actually copied that basically now. He's going to create a new monitor engine, if you like, instance. He's pasting in the stream and he's putting in some data on what was that data, Ståle?
Name.
He's putting in a name, and of course, Tim, a name is something that is pretty interesting and necessary.
It does.
So what happens next, Ståle? We are actually good to go. So that means that he's then just saying go, and that means that we are actually now monitoring that URL. So you input the URL, you give it a name, and that name, if that is the same as the other services you monitor, then you can correlate between them, let's say a BBC One. If you give it a BBC One name, you can correlate through the whole BBC system, if you like. Here is all that particulars that comes from that stream. It looks like it has a multitude of different of different segments actually, which is pretty cool, I say. So the point here is again to show how simple it is to start with OTT monitoring. This is now your friendly robot. It's going to go on 24/7 and load it up every single segment and check for segmentation errors. It will check all the different metadata files that is associated with the individual segment, and it will of course give you an alarm if anything is problematic. You have of course the ability to look at the physical imagery of it, of course, and you know, it's dead simple. It's so simple so that everyone can do it. So I believe that with that type of simplicity and the 24/7 monitoring of these live streams, you will have a very, very good way of being aware if something is happening or not. That's for sure. As you can see from that gray bar, that is actually telling us the status of the OTT engine. because the OTT engine is doing exactly like your player does. It will go and actually find the next segment and download that as fast as humanly possible. Also, of course, keep the data on how fast it was able to download it, and of course then start looking at it, looking at the metadata that is correspondent to it, and basically store that statistic. In the probe, it stores it for 4 days, but if you connect it like we have here to the VBC system, it can store it indefinitely. And you can then have statistics on the behavior of your CDN or your delivery network down to sub-milliseconds. And that is, of course, powerful stuff to have, because again, you can give out delivery reports on how these different CDNs behave. Most broadcasters have multiple CDNs, so that's why benchmarking them with the independent tool, not only the tool that the individual CDNs actually have and give you reports on, is a very, very important fact. So that's some of that usability, Tim, that we find. Oh, you're looking at it right now.
Oh,
are
sorry, I was just watching a program actually. Yeah,
Oh,
TV
really?
everywhere. That's what they say. So apologies, but yeah.
Well, it's a good example because people now use all their spare time basically to look at small segments. There's a new player in town called QB, which was again created for that small form segment. When you're on a bus and you don't have an hour to watch a dramatic episode, you have maybe 5 minutes. So there's a lot of experimentation going on with the help of this amazing technology.
Yeah, and the importance of monitoring. No, absolutely. I think we're probably going to go into some reports. Maybe Sturla will help us out with that. But I thought first we might have some more entertainment from our friend Axel Acosta.
To be or not to be? To be alive or not to be alive? To be live or not to be live? Now that, my dear audience, is the evolution of the question of being live. Oops, going a little bit over the top.
So there was Axel playing something a bit over the top there.
I see.
Yep, the cheesy themes are coming out today.
No kidding.
So yeah, the VBC and reports. I think we were touching on that before.
Yeah, because you know, doing OTT analytics and doing that is nice and fine, but it all comes together when you store the data over time and actually then can see trending. And trending is one of the nicest tools to be able to discern various aspects that is maybe some small form deteriorating slightly over time. That gives you an indicator that there's something wrong in the system, or that it may be something wrong with the system going forward. And trending is one of those brilliant things that we can do with the help of our VBC tool. I'm calling on Ståle again to be this active, phenomenal helper to show us this. And basically we can go to the VBC, and as we see, we have something called reports, but we also have something called extended reports. And the extended reports is more, let's say, the geeky type of reports, because this is for the engineers. You have the same phenomenal thing as you have with all our other reports, which are more SLA based for let's say operations and management. But the geeky extended reports are made to be able to have a tool to see, again, long-term trending, do the engineering decision making. And you have tons of data you can explore into this and create reports on specific subjects that's relevant to that piece of technology that is delivering this. All the data that is used to gather these reports is, of course, stored for years on the VBC, and that enables you to go and choose a time frame that you want to report from. You can also, of course, automatically send the report every Tuesday at 3 o'clock if you like. But let's have a look at one of those already created reports. You can create that manually as well. Let's say that we go to one, you know, we can pick one randomly, or we can say that we prepared one special for you, which is this report. And this is, again, a more in-depth engineering report. You will be able to go into all the different sites and see exactly how that site actually behaved. This is a very special report because, again, it had a limited duration, and well, it was all green, which is you know, not very good for a demo. I think we just find another one and see how that fares, basically. And here we go. We're trying with another nice report, which has a lot more to say. It's still very green. I must say, our demonstration system is, oh, there we go. We got some errors. And here you can see that the errors is pinpointed to specific parts of the delivery technology that the error occurred on. And again, it gives you exact status, time of day, and if you like, you can then create another report with that time period in mind, if you see. And you can also see that it correlates between different types of services. And that is also very valuable information. So when you couple a 24/7 OTT engine, which will constantly you know, go and question your media, with then these very advanced reporting tools, you have the best of breed, I will say.
No, fantastic, and that's another indication. And I mean, with bandwidth's a huge topic, and at the moment, lots of subscribers are joining the OTT sphere. And I guess the theme that we have been talking about, why we explain why this is important. Simen, do you want to just give us a quick rundown on why this is important?
Well, it's like, again, having issues. I remember, you know, 20 years ago when first the ability to do chunk-based distribution was kind of like a bit science fiction. And people were kind of wary. Would a TCP-based network actually be able to hold more than a couple of thousands of subscribers? Yeah. More or less, you know, 10,000 million. No, that was looked at as science fiction. And now this is very traditional. I mean, Netflix is now going to pass the corner of very close to 200 million subscribers. Exactly. Yeah. And with these amazing OTT, chunk-based, TCP-based delivery systems, it's quite amazing. But we must remember that all this is, again, subjected to small variations of delivery can cause fatal problems. And that means that everybody that does serious delivery of these technologies take monitoring very seriously. Because, again, if you can't fault find immediately, it was going to be a blame game. That's going to be kind of hard. If you lose, let's say, 10 million subscribers, yeah, there is going to be some serious repercussions. Yes. So being able to monitor, especially I talked about trending, to monitor trending so that you can preeminence a lot of these problems is a key element. And that's why this is extremely important. If you don't have eyes on your media, there will be problems you can't fix. Yeah.
No, brilliant. No, thank you again. So I think we're coming up to about almost 20 past 3 here in Oslo. London is 20 past 2. Dubai is, if I use my little seagull cam, is 20 past 5. And yeah, I think that's a great look into a very important topic, OTT. So thank you very much for joining us all today. Thank you to Ståle again on our demo system. Thank you, Simen, again for his words of wisdom. And over and out from our Oslo studio here at Bridge Technologies.